Quinn Ewers had some fun at Texas. Highly accurate quarterback, led his team to the postseason. Really, really impressive processing ability. But does he have the requisite arm talent and that high end to even start in the NFL, let alone for your fantasy league? Kenny, Quinn Ewers, highly, highly rated prospect coming out of high school. Really intriguing talent. But do you think there's enough arm talent there for him to be a success in the NFL?
No.
Well, that's it. That's a nice, easy,
That's
short one.
it. All
Moving from
over.
there.
Yeah, no. I mean, no, I don't. I mean, I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he proves me wrong, obviously. But I don't see an NFL quarterback when I watch his film. I just don't. I don't think he'll. I think we live in the world now, don't we, where if you're not really going to be a top sort of 50 pick in the draft, it's quite hard to get the opportunities to become an NFL starter, regular NFL starter. I mean, it's interesting. You and I obviously disagree somewhat over his processing, because I thought when the picture got muddled, I thought at times he struggled. I thought he had a decent arm. All his best plays seem to come out of shotgun play action for me, which is quite specific for where you're going to get the best out of him. I thought he seemed to be one of those QBs that overrated his arm. Like, I saw him throw a lot of no balls that, if you've got going back and showing my bias here, but if you've got a Joe Flacco level cannon that you can get it in there, he seemed to do that, and he seemed to get himself into trouble at times, I think. I thought he could be got to. He didn't seem to tuck it and run very often for me. There were some nice throws. For me, he was nowhere near, if it was like last year's draft, and I think that's what's bumping him up. I think this is a poor quarterback draft. It's not as bad as is it 2021, the Kenny Pickett draft?
Kenny Pickett, yeah.
Yeah, it's not as bad, I would say, as that one. But like last year, I actually thought, when I was watching it, I was like, I'd probably still take Spencer Rattler over him, all things considered. So he wouldn't have been in the top 7 last year for me. And he might go higher than Rattler went this year. But yeah, he'll be on someone else's team this year for me. And I wish him luck, and I hope he goes and has a long, successful career and proves me wrong, and I have to come on here and eat humble pie in a couple of years' time. But I don't see it personally. But good luck to him. I hope he proves me wrong.
I think you and I disagree slightly on the processing ability. When I talk about processing, I tend to break it into 3 categories of pre-snap, post-snap in the pocket, and then out of structure. And I think that pre-snap, post-snap in the pocket, I think he processes really well. When it does get muddy and he gets out of structure, I think he can create. I think it's one where he's relying on the receiver talent to create for him, if that makes sense. And I think he can deliver there. I agree with you on the arm talent. I think it worries me. He does have a floaty deep ball. I think he's going to be a safety's best friend in the NFL if he pushes the ball downfield, which immediately worries me, because I think as soon as that's the case, you start to shrink the field. Defenses can kind of sit up, and it's hard enough to complete passes in the NFL, let alone when you've got the safeties sitting there sort of 20, 30 yards deep rather than having to push 40, 50 yards deep. The rushing upside is non-existent. I think he seemed to play through a lot of injuries. I think he seemed to get injured a lot. I don't know if that's a him thing or if it's just one of these, Big Ben style where he lets everyone know that he's injured, but he's kind of soldiering through it type. I like him, but I like him as like a high-end backup quarterback in the NFL. I don't think I expect him to get drafted to be a starter. I don't think he's one of these that's going to go early second round and maybe get a chance to start in a year or 2. I think he's going to be high-end backup. I feel like he's going to settle into that Mac Jones kind of tier of quarterback over the next 5 years. I think, sadly, there is an NFL quarterback in there, but I just think the arm talent, that deep ball, is too much of an issue for him to overcome. And I just don't think no matter how good he is at getting the ball out quick, accurate in that kind of highly schemed offense, I don't think that's going to be able to last in the NFL and give him any sort of longevity.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can see what you're saying about pre-snap, post-snap, and then almost scramble drill time. But I kind of think, he obviously had a head coach who is an elite college offense schemer. He is. So he was always going to be going into most games with an advantage there. He's also at Texas. So, again, he's going to have 4 and 5 stars lining up in a lot of places and be able to take advantage of that. And that got him to a point. You don't. Everyone's a 4-star, 5-star in the NFL, and I just think you don't necessarily get to go and have those advantages that maybe he had. And then the drop off, like you said, once read 1 and 2 weren't maybe open, or once it hadn't gone there, it just looked like it went downhill pretty fast there. And again, where he's more dangerous than Chad Pennington probably had the weakest arm of any QB I'm guessing we've seen.
Post shoulder injury, Chad Pennington, yeah.
Absolutely. That wasn't always the case, but by the end it was. But at least he knew that. So he didn't take those risks. It's worse, it's worse to have not the strongest arm, but think you have, than to not have the strongest arm and know you don't, because he took on throws that he should never take on. That, you are talking only a few guys can, get out there. We're talking Josh Allen level arm strength. You've got that he would try and take on, And like you said, I think he's got the potential to chuck in a few 3-4 pick games. Ed Reed would have eaten his lunch, kind of thing. He would have loved it, seeing him come in. That kind of, situation. So good luck to him. I hope he works out, but he'll be on someone else's team this year.
Disagree with us on Quinn Ewers? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. We are previewing every single fantasy relevant player you need to know for all those rookie drafts.